I have to say, I think we kind of have to start with impeachment. You've been under a tremendous amount of pressure, particularly from the left, to do this. But it was interesting watching you because you were, it reminded me a little bit of LBJ, who said, make me do it. You're waiting till the moment when you felt you absolutely had to do this. And so what was it that changed? Was there some particular piece of information or a meeting you were in, a phone call with him? What actually happened?
Well, let me just say that I don't view pressure as a reason for me to do something. I mean, that's just the way that... however, it does give me leverage. Mm-hmm. It does give me leverage. So as far as my members were concerned, whatever was right for them at their moment, because there was plenty that the president had done, evidenced in the Mueller report and just other things, that were impeachable offenses. For me, timing is everything. I said, when we get more facts, when the truth has more clarity, we will be ready. We will be ready. And September 17th, 2019 was the very day, boom, the explosion of the telephone call with the president and the president of Ukraine. That was a moment of revelation in terms of, okay, it's understandable. This had a story. This had clarity. And so, the president called me in the morning. Don't tell anybody I'm telling you this, okay? And he wanted to talk about all the things he was doing to pass what he knows is not only a passion with me, but a dispassion with me, that we're going to get it done, passing background checks legislation to end gun violence in our country. So he calls, and as I keep saying to them, we're not going away until we get this protection. Then he decided to change the subject, which was probably the purpose of the call. About the call, it's perfect. I thought, no, Mr. President, it's not perfect. It's wrong. It's wrong. And he said, where do you see... I don't know if he said the transcript was, the transcript is hidden away someplace, but where do you see the record of the call? It's perfect. Just asking the head of state of a country to not dig up dirt, create dirt on a political opponent. That's not right. But his insistence that it was so right was just made it so imperative that we proceed. Now, I didn't tell him I was going to proceed. I said, actually, I was going to call you myself to tell you what we're kind of observing here. And I'll be talking to my members today, because they were just coming back on that Tuesday. Then he said, well, I have to go make a speech to the UN General Assembly right now, and you're telling me this? Yeah. So anyway, his complete lack of any sense, and I said, you violated your oath of office, undermined our national security, and jeopardized the integrity of our elections, which is fundamental to our democracy. It wasn't a pleasant call.
Wow. Wow. If the House does impeach, do you have faith in the fairness of Mitch McConnell to hold a trial, or do you, and is it possible, must he hold a trial, or can he basically sweep it under the rug with a quick up and down vote to acquit? I'm curious what you expect and think that the Constitution demands there.
Well, let me just say that anybody who names himself with great pride the Grim Reaper, I don't have a lot of faith in doing the right thing as we go forward. Here's our thing. As I've said to them, the courage of the House to honor its oath of office to protect and to defend the Constitution of the United States is not affected by the cowardice of the Senate to look the other way and not honor their oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. So when they said, they're supposedly writing me a letter saying, don't bother going down this path because we're not going to do anything about it. Oh, really? I'm so glad you wrote to me. That won't have anything to do with it. But it does, I guess demand is the word, require this, that as we go forward, prayerfully, this is sad for the country, as we go forward prayerfully, that we do so strategically in a way that is ironclad. Should we go down this path? That decision has not been made. I don't want to give that impression. Should we go down that path? If we should go down that path, that it would be written in such an ironclad way, so focused. If the Senate decides that they have better things to do that day, that the public will recognize that they have abandoned their oath of office. And so this has to be done, again, strategically, fairly, prayerfully, solemnly. What are their options? They could say they acquit. So they acquit. He's impeached forever if we go down that path. You are impeached forever. Should we go down that path? If we should go down that path. But it cannot go unaddressed because any other president might come along and decide he or he can just do whatever they feel like doing. One of the things that I liked the most that I saw this weekend was somebody, Mickey Hart, you know, from Grateful Dead. I'm a Grateful Dead fan. He sent me this meme, I guess it is. It's me, and I'm saying, Donald, you used to own a casino. You know the house always wins.